Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Once again, I have my brother from another mother, Mr. Derek Green here.
What's up?
My pandemic brother.
Yeah, pandemic
We would be
bros.
on tour right now, but we're not. So
now we're friends.
No, we've been friends. We've known each other for 25 years.
I know.
But since the pandemic, you've been coming on the podcast and hanging out. And you couldn't miss our guest today because you're a massive fan.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
So welcome to the podcast for the third time, Milo.
Oh, yeah. The first two were
in the van.
Yeah. The first was in the van. Then we did it over the phone.
Catching up with you.
This is another in-person one.
This is real life right now. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And we're in my hometown, and you're kind of new hometown.
Yeah, I've been here 20 years now.
That's pretty good.
I've lived here longer than New York, so.
There you go. Yeah.
I guess I'm officially California.
Sure.
My son surfs, skates. He was born here. He's a total Cali kid.
Yeah.
And the last time I talked to you too, you were about to, or you were going to a hip hop show with your son. I don't know if that ever happened. Was it Travis Scott or somebody? We were talking about hip hop.
Yeah, and I don't think I ever went with him. He did go though with some friends, but I didn't get invited.
Oh, you did?
Because he knows that. God, I know some hip hop, but I'm not as well versed as he is.
Yeah.
So he kind of like said I was not
You weren't cool enough to go.
I wasn't qualified. Yeah.
Wow. So you haven't seen any live hip hop as of lately?
No. I
Okay.
haven't, so yeah.
We were talking about the mumble rap and the different styles the kids listen to.
Yeah, I can't even keep track of it. I remember he was really into the trap.
Trap.
Trap. That's what the kids like.
Yeah, and I could hear that stuff through his headphones. You hear that. That's all you can hear. You can't even hear the music. You hear the cymbal. It's one hi-hat that just keeps going incessantly.
It is true, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You hear that stuff because, Tim Armstrong's like that too. He breaks down. We talk about hip hop with him to people in punk. They listen to the things that we don't really hear. No more people wouldn't hear that or think about stuff like that.
I never imagined that you were into hip hop, Milo.
What's that?
I wouldn't imagine that you were into hip hop.
Well, I mean, back in the day, I was listening to Beastie Boys and all that. But,
sick.
How
about some Wu-Tang now?
No, we played with them though in Toronto.
Descendents of Wu-Tang?
That's sick.
Wow. Yeah, it was like they headlined and we were like their opening band in Toronto maybe like 3 years ago. So
wow,
it was fun.
What if they all showed up? Sometimes they don't all show up.
Yeah.
I love shows like that. It's surprising at times.
It never happens in America though. It seems like
never
always
in America. Yeah.
Europe has great festivals like that.
Yeah. Most Def we played with.
You did?
De La Soul.
Yeah, when they mix them together, I like that a lot.
Me too. Yeah. We saw Agnostic Front open for Ice Cube in Germany once. Like just cool stuff like that.
I like that.
And also when we talked last too, you were listening to those demos from the 70s before it became Ninth and Walnut.
Right.
You just in the middle of doing that.
Oh,
pretty
okay.
awesome. Yeah. So
you
go through those songs.
I think Bill sent them to me probably in early 2020 and I was we were recording new music.
Yeah.
And I'd gotten through all of our new songs and said, okay, let's start doing old stuff because I just wanted to keep the ball rolling. So he sent them all to me, and it was probably the funnest thing I did all year. I mean, just because it was such a trip down memory lane, and not only was I able to sing songs that I had sung back in that time, but I also half the songs I hadn't even heard
before. Yeah,
and so it's like to hear those songs that Frank and Tony had written way back when, and just to kind of marvel at why didn't we ever play those back then? It's like they just kind of got phased out.
Were they missing and they were found as of recently?
No, they just they were just always on the shelf. I mean, they got recorded. They actually got recorded in 2002. Okay, and then Bill had alerted me to that. Said, hey, you could do these songs anytime you want. And I said, cool, I'm trying to be a scientist, so leave me alone. And then once I quit with my science job, then we were just on the road all the time, and it never kind of bubbled up again until like I said, I was kind of in the groove of recording us, and I said, hey, remember that stuff? We should just do it.
Yeah.
And so he sent it right out, and we did it, or I did it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Something to have like that during the lockdown when you're not playing shows. It probably kept you sane.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is true of a lot of probably musicians during COVID. It's like you're grasping at whatever straws you can just to stay busy and just to, you can't play live. So what you gonna do? You're gonna, how many times you're gonna write the same song over and over again too?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote all the songs I wanted to write, and then it was like, I recorded all the songs I wanted to write, and then I came up with these.
It's amazing. And then you went from like not being a scientist to doing Descendents full time, and then pandemic hits. Yep. And then everything stops.
Yeah, that was kind of rough because in 2016 was this big, major life decision for me. I'm going to be a career musician. I finally made the decision to be a career musician, and then a couple years later, it's like the roof, the floor falls out from everybody.
Yeah.
So.
And so, how's everything been? Like, you just been home being a dad with your kids and just trying to stay busy?
Staying busy, you write songs, record whatever I can that Bill and Stefan and me put together, and Carl. And then also, I guess I mentioned to you before that if there's videos that I could appear in. I mean, people ask me to appear in these videos of cover songs, and I was doing that, which shows you the level of desperation I was in. Where I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be in your video. We'll cover these songs.
Punk rock karaoke did Dickies.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, nice. You should do
Right.
one too, man.
Yeah.
I don't like doing cover songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Honestly, I
mean,
it's a
wow.
weird thing.
I mean, pre-COVID, it never really dawned on me as something to do. But it's just during that time, I was like, yeah, I'll do it because it keeps me, busy.
Yeah.
And it turns
Creative.
out they're fun to do. I mean, they are fun. But I'm hoping in the aftermath of COVID that maybe I can just get back to playing live instead.
Exactly.
I prefer that. I prefer to do that.
And your own songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys covered Soft Cell, Tainted Love.
We did a lot of cover songs.
Yeah.
I'm not
You don't
saying-
enjoy them?
I don't know. I think they're fun to do. I just
Yeah.
I prefer, of course, doing songs that we wrote.
Yeah.
It's just a little more interesting and out of the box. And
We did the Public Enemy
Crazier.
song during the pandemic. That was awesome.
fun.
You had me on
I
that.
guess it really depends on the song. It's got to be something really abstract for me, like to do cover song. If I'm going to do a cover song, I don't want to do a metal cover song.
So
Yeah, of
I want to
course.
do something that's
And wait, Sepulture's from Brazil, right?
yeah.
But do they do any kind of Brazilian music at all? or-
Good question.
No.
No, okay.
I mean, nothing as far as
Because that would be kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
that's exactly
Yeah.
something that I would be interested in doing a song all in Portuguese.
Sure.
Ooh.
For
Yeah.
example,
Yeah,
that's
that'd be great.
still on the the list of things to do.
Yeah,
but things like that, maybe a cover song that's in Portuguese,
Yeah.
that would
That's
be a
sick,
challenge.
too.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd like
I'm
to hear
surprised Sepultura never did that in Portuguese. They've been together for so long.
It's a weird thing in Brazil, with rock and roll, they associate with English.
it. All right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, in order for it to have that impact, they grew up with it the same way that we did. They're like, it just doesn't sound as strong in
Okay.
Portuguese. And that's
right.
coming from Brazilians.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Interesting. And so, how's it been for you guys playing shows again? You started playing shows as of recently, right?
Yeah, we did a tour with Rise Against
Yeah.
in the month of August, and it was a lot of fun. But it was also there was a little bit of trepidation about what's going to happen, because I mean there weren't that many actual tours going out. The ones that were going out, some actually were getting canceled
They
because
were.
because
Right.
of COVID, and so it started to be an issue of like, well, how draconian of tactics are we going to take? So everyone had to be vaccinated.
Yep.
But then we started to have to make the audience be vaccinated as well. And so, but in the end, I don't think in the end anyone on the tour got COVID at all.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
I can't vouch for the audience, but I mean, but hopefully they didn't either.
Yeah, I think because people in the bubble, like that tour, our friends are on Lamb of God, they're on that tour. So
Right,
like this,
right.
nobody's backstage, there's no friends and family, there's no all access. You
Yep.
can't mingle with the other bands. It's like these little bubbles.
Yep.
Same with
Yeah.
Newfound Glory right now.
Right, right.
And Rancid just did the 3 weeks with Dropkick, and nobody got COVID. It was like incredible their
Yep.
first 3 weeks.
That's good.
Did you think it was worth it? Like once you got into it, or were you like,
Oh no, it was fun.
Okay.
it was fun because we hadn't gone on that many long tours in the past decade.
Right.
We've gone out.
Wow.
We've gone out for like a 2-week tours, and this was the first time we'd gone out for a month tour since probably the 90s.
Wow.
So it was I was embracing the challenge, like, okay, we can do it.
right,
And
right.
I think the first couple weeks I was definitely skating on thin ice. Didn't lose my voice, but was just kind of like, yeah, I haven't pulled it quite together yet. But then by the end, I was like, okay, let's keep going. I wanted to extend the tour.
Yeah.
How many shows was it?
It was 19, I think.
Were they take days off?
Yeah. They had a good. Their cadence is similar to our cadence, and so when we first saw the schedule, we thought, yeah, well, this is going to work. We don't like to play more than 3 or 4 shows in a row.
And you can rest and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Wonderful.
We did.
Yeah.
we were doing a lot of 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day
Okay.
off. I think in the end we added some of our own club shows to
That's
it.
smart.
And then so at that rate, then there was a couple 4 days on, 1 day off kind of situations. So it was all good.
Did it feel magical going on stage after not playing for so long? Like, were you nervous? Was it like
It was great.
the energy?
I mean, part of my visualization over the past year and a half has been, when can I see my friends again? Because they're all my friends, and I just wanted to be back on stage and be back hanging on the bus with them, and and having fun. Yeah.
And so do you do vocal warm ups?
Yeah, I do. I was doing. In preparing for the tour beforehand, I had neglected doing them, and then like a day before the tour, I was like, I better incorporate that, because I was starting to get really freaked out. Like my voice was really guttural, and and so then I said, I'm gonna have to start doing them on the tour, and I bring my ukulele and I play chords, and I just do like scales, and it's and do a few different kind of different vocal mouth kind of vocalizations. It seems to help.
You never had vocal lessons or anything?
I had one vocal lesson where I learned my warm up, and it's the same warm up that I've done ever since.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so
those are so important. Like I never did any of that. I was blowing my voice or singing from the wrong spot.
Yeah,
I'd be super hoarse, and then I would tell my band, I can't play no more shows. They're like, no, you got it. It's a lot of mental going on there too.
Yeah.
And like when you start straining your voice, you sound weird when you talk, but when you sing from a different place.
True.
And you can still sing, but it's a mental fuck for sure. Like having that, you know what I mean? Like you start double guessing, questioning yourself.
I've had nightmares where it's just like I can't speak in the dream.
You ever lose your voice on the Sepultura?
No.
Really? And you yell loud too.
We've canceled shows. Not recently, but back maybe a decade. I'm going to say a decade ago, we had to cancel some shows because I just wasn't preparing right.
Yeah, but it's weird because you don't think about it like, oh, this is my tool, this is my voice, this is, and then it becomes okay. This is not my job, but this is if I lose this show, this is.
And a lot of
I'm
people
not a scientist anymore. This is what I'm doing.
Relying on you too. On
the
tour,
I know,
so
and just sound good.
Yeah, you feel like a schmuck.
And just sound.
I can vouch for that. You feel like a dork.
Yeah, so you can't keep your voice this many years doing it, but as you get older too, I don't know, just a lot of things are involved, like resting. That's super important on tour. It's super hard to rest. What you're eating, what you're drinking.
No alcohol.
Yeah.
Helps.
Yeah.
No, I think, and a lot of times when I feel like like I'm getting behind the eight ball on it, like, I'm getting hoarse or whatever, I just remember if I get enough sleep and I get enough fluids, I'm probably going to be okay.
100%.
Yeah. And also no talking. I do a lot of
I do that too.
Silent.
Yeah. Just kind of check out. Yeah.
I remember one tour in Australia where I didn't talk for like 8 or 9 hours a day. I write notes to my band. I was so shook about losing my voice because we had like 13 shows in a row in the 90s.
Yeah.
So you start writing notes. And I also heard that like lemon and honey is not really everything for you.
Honey
it's just
definitely
not talking.
is not good.
Yeah. It never really did anything for me. Yeah.
And it's also very sugary and it makes you phlegmy.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
And it's not vegan, so the vegan police, if they're listening, they come after you.
They would not come after me. I never use honey.
Oh, wow. That's right. Honey's not vegan.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I'm like lemon and warm water. That's it.
So you know what I do, and I stole this from Dave Grohl. I've been chewing gum on stage for like fucking over 10 years.
Okay.
And it keeps you moist,
lubricated.
and he does it too. Check out Dave Grohl. He's never not chewed bazooka gum for years on stage. Granted, he doesn't jump around like me or Milo. He stands still with his guitar. We jump around. So I've spit it out on somebody. I've had almost choked on it. But for me, mentally, it works. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, my version of that is just to try to drink as much fluid on stage. But the problem is that you know how the songs go. It's like you don't even get like a breath of air.
Hell
to do
no.
it. So what I do is I have like this sling that I wear that has my like water bottle in it.
I saw that you were the other day. I saw him. I was like, "Bro, my man's got like a cool style."
Like it's like a sling,
Yeah.
which is cool because then it's kind of like the guitarists have their guitar strap, and I've got my like water strap.
That's
so,
insane. You drink it. So you guys drink a lot of water.
Well,
on
I
stage.
do. I mean, I do. Yeah.
I can only drink maybe half a sip.
Huh. Okay.
And through the whole show.
Well, it does make you kind of irp a little bit. Too.
Yeah, that's why I'm
you're
like,
kind of burping and stuff, but whatever. I'll take that.
You ever drink sparkling water on stage?
No.
In Europe, I did an accident. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a horrible. In Europe, it's like really salty sparkling water. They
Right.
have like the mineral, the true,
Yeah.
coming from the earth.
Yeah.
How are the Rise Against crowds for you guys?
They were good. I think if you just focused on the people in front, that our fans were down in front, and you could tell, we weren't going to get as big a responses. And no way, but I mean, I think we got decent responses, and it was just fun, and we're all good friends with them, and so we had some good hang time. So it's good.
That's awesome. I was just looking at your coffee, realizing obviously you're a big coffee drinker. Coffee dehydrates you too.
Yeah,
so you have to eat more water for Descendents.
Yeah. And I'll just, I just take that as it comes. I have to drink the coffee, but you're right. I'll just drink more water to kind of counteract it.
And how many coffees do you drink a day now at your age?
Well, if I'm not playing,
No, he's older now. He's drinking coffee since he was a teenager. Come on, you heard the records in the 80s. Come on,
I
bro.
know. I
Go
was
ahead.
there.
I mean, I'm pretty lightweight when I'm not playing. I mean, in the morning I'll have two. They're not even cups, full cups. They're like little demi tosses. I go 2 demi tosses in the morning and I'm done. I don't need any more.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But then if we're playing, then I'm gonna start drinking coffee like an hour before we play, and that's gonna be like another 2 cups of coffee then, just to kind of get myself jacked up.
And that doesn't keep you up all night.
Yeah.
After that?
Well, like, sometimes it does. No, I've gotten pretty good about. I mean, I might be able to go to bed. Let's say the show's at 10. I might be able to go to bed at 2, and that's
Okay.
fine. I just and then because the next day,
You're probably burning a lot of it off on stage.
yeah,
the
maybe
adrenaline. And
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So, but then also, I mean, on these tours, you don't wake up till noon the next day. Anymore.
Hell no.
I mean,
That's
you're
nice.
in a freaking bus. So
That's
I know.
nice.
What are
It's
you gonna
great
do?
though.
So you never
sleep.
quit coffee your whole life?
No,
Wow.
no
Good
need.
for
There's
you.
no
never,
need.
never had issues, nothing. And you think, okay, you're a scientist. Do you think you've done any like research on? Because I'm back and forth. Like I drank it for a month in 2020, and I got addicted to it. That's the only drug I've ever done.
Yeah.
Had to stop doing it. I got jittery. I got shittery. I got dehydrated.
Shittery.
Yeah, I got dehydrated. I got fucking. But I felt like an adult drinking coffee with all my friends and like going to these coffee shops. But I don't do it. So now I've been had coffee since March of 2021.
I think it was the amount that you're having.
No,
also.
bro. I was just having just
Wait,
a little
you-
bit for me.
Wait, you're not on coffee right now?
No.
Yeah, you don't need to drink coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Right.
That's
True.
what, but I'm on
That's true.
yerba mate tea, which is a lot of caffeine.
Minimum caffeine.
But
Minimum
natural.
caffeine, like half the caffeine of coffee.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't
it's
need
actually
that.
stronger than regular tea, but less than caffeine. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
kind
never.
of mid ground.
Yeah.
So there's nothing bad with coffee. Like it doesn't fuck with your heart. Doesn't any of that
I
stuff.
did some research and I didn't find anything that.
Actually, a few cups of coffee a day is actually healthy for you. It is.
Just black coffee though.
Yeah, sure. You don't have to put all that other bullshit in there.
Do you
Yeah.
put stuff in your coffee or no?
No, I don't. I mean,
Damn.
Actually, if I'm rocking it from home, no. If I'm rocking it from like 7-Eleven, well, you better put something in 7-Eleven coffee.
So you're not a coffee snob. Like you go to Starbucks, you go to 7-Eleven, you go to Dunkin' Donuts. You're not going to like the cool little spots that not many people know of in each town.
No, I don't like 7-Eleven coffee. That's why I got to put a lot of shit in it.
Okay.
That's a desperation move.
Yeah, that's
Like
serious
that's why you got to put all that
desperation.
stuff in it because it's crap.
Ugh,
But no,
I
I'll
get
try to
shakes
drink
from
good
it.
stuff. We have our own Descendents coffee and it's
Ooh.
and it's called the Bonus Blend.
Wow.
And it's really dark roast French.
You like dark
French,
roast?
yeah, dark French roast. And so that's made me a snob because you get used to drinking one type of coffee and then everything else tastes
Where are
like
your
crap.
coffee beans coming from?
Good question. Are they sourced correctly? I don't.
I was just curious what
yeah,
country you're.
This is yeah. I mean, so it's Jackie's Java. I think they've got the fair trade thing going. I mean, I
Okay.
think they're pretty on top of that. So yeah.
Damn. So has coffee been like your main, probably the only drug you do in your whole life? Your main kind of.
Yeah,
High.
that's. I mean, I'll have a beer now and again, but I don't really like overindulge in alcohol. And basically, let's just put it this way, I'm an in moderation guy.
Okay.
Even when
Nice,
it comes to
nice.
coffee, really, I'm in
Right.
moderation. I don't really,
Yeah.
do too much coffee. So
You seem like a mellow person. Like, have you ever been out of control? Like, were you like a crazy kid? Like, were you getting into trouble? Were you fucking partying? Were you like a?
no, I think I actually was pretty much a teetotaler in high school. Went to college and that ended quickly. I mean, you go to college.
What
and
college did you go to?
I was in UC San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Listen to the first episode, okay?
Sorry, bro.
I love you.
yeah, catch up.
And there's
He
some
li-
other
He
people
listened
that-
to it this week, and I
But
haven't
there's
listened
some
to
other people that might be listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now,
new
and-
listeners.
and
Oh, yeah,
new
way
lis-
different now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, go
So
ahead, Milo,
yeah, I mean,
sorry.
if anyone who goes to college is going to be exposed to all that, and I did kind of have lots of exposure to alcohol and partook. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
All
like,
right.
were you with the women? Were you later on in life? Were you dating when you were young? Because you guys have these love songs. Like, were you
Yeah,
like not
a
like
lot of love
you
songs,
definitely not? You
sure.
don't seem like a player or guy. I'm gonna try to get these girls. You seem like you just focused on your shit, did your shit, went to college. You were focused on your education,
Yeah.
not chasing people. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, I mean, I think, and the thing about being in a band is that the stereotype is like you're getting laid all the time, but I wasn't that guy.
Right.
That wasn't me.
Yeah.
I think I can count them on 2 fingers.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever.
I've been married the whole time.
That's
in my band.
actually it's actually pathetic. So, but whatever.
No,
Whatever.
I
no.
related a lot to.
Listen.
I mean, lyrically.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, oh, this guy is definitely not it doesn't sound like he's the guy, like the college guy, frat guy going after, like, I got,
No.
He went to
this
college
next
for the
act.
reasons to learn and get
Right.
educated.
And I was definitely in that same boat. Like maybe one girl that I was with when I was 19 the first time. Yeah.
Then again, I
Wow.
did write pervert, so there's that.
That's true too. When you weren't getting it, yeah.
Doesn't mean that
Yeah,
you can
no.
be without a girl and be
Yeah.
a pervert.
Yeah.
Usually.
But
But
I
that
got-
whole song's about I like sex. Okay, yeah. But the rest of the band is like, no, we're not going to play that anymore.
Wow.
No, because I think they like maybe the message was missed because I was just saying, hey, I like sex. But then there's a line in there about I'm not going to let you get away, and they're like, dude.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, but
right?
you can't say that
I
now.
know,
You can't
Right,
say.
I didn't feel it that
I just
way.
meant like, hey, don't go away. I want to keep you
Yeah.
because we're having such a great time in bed.
We
You
get
know?
that, but
Yeah, it's like,
this
I don't wanna
generation,
lock you in the
can't-
basement.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So if you say it really low and guttural, I'm not going to let you get. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
good.
I can definitely
Yeah, I've
get a
been with
different
I've been with
meaning.
the same woman my whole life, the whole band, everything.
Wow.
Before the band, after the one girl, and I'll go on record on the podcast saying right now, I've only slept with 5 women my whole life. I'm
Wow.
51 years old.
That's
I didn't
incredible.
give a shit about girls. I liked punk rock and skateboarding,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all I cared about. And people made fun of me, said I was gay. I was going to take my skateboard to the prom because I didn't have a girlfriend in high school. I swear to God. And so yeah, I was never a player. Been
Yeah.
married
I get
26
it, man.
years. I don't know. It still wasn't really my thing. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
hear
it's
ya.
too much work. I mean,
It's a lot of work.
On the road, it's too much work because this is so many. Everyone's a stranger.
Yeah.
Everyone's a stranger.
Yeah.
So what the hell? Of course, that's the appeal to some people.
Yeah.
True.
I had my wife with me on the road. I was lucky she was selling merch, so I was very lucky.
Yeah. I mean, my guitarist, he's been with his wife, and she's never been with anyone but him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
High school, like,
I don't know. Does Sting do that too? I don't know. Is Sting
Somebody
one of them?
does that.
Somebody
of
does
those
that.
bands.
Yeah.
It's not just punk rockers who are like
No,
dedicated
not at all. Like
husbands.
Bon Jovi, I heard he was a long
Oh, yeah,
time
he's one.
relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, for
High
real?
school.
Wow, I love that, man. How long you been married for?
Now it's 20. Oh, I can't do the math. 80. No, 90. 95. So
You
what
better
is
get
that?
it right, man.
26.
Wow.
Wow, that's
26
close to me
years.
too. Yeah, wow.
That's great.
It's amazing, man. Having just somebody like that, like just to like support you being a big kid and following your dreams and playing music and
Yeah,
all that.
She's put up with all of it because
Yeah.
I mean, she grew up listening to punk, but she never really embraced the punk lifestyle and the whole touring things. Like I'd say, hey, come out on tour with me. She's like, no fucking way.
Yeah. I get that. though.
yeah.
She never, yeah, like some wives, some women
Yeah.
aren't like down for that. Like some
Definitely
of the,
not, yeah.
I'm not. This is no diss to my band, but some of the wives in my band
But
aren't
it's
down going. So my
completely
wife loved it.
understandable.
My wife's pissing in big goat bottles in the back of the van.
Yeah.
There
She's
you go.
fighting people for stealing merch on the
Well,
Warped
hello.
Tour. She's from Chicago. My wife's
Yeah,
like a hard
shy
ass.
gal.
Yeah.
But like she likes it. She likes being out there and meeting people. We got to travel the world before Max came, you know?
That's cool.
So your kids have been on tour too. They were reading all logistics. I remember that.
Yeah, and we don't do that song anymore, unfortunately, because that was one of my favorite things about doing that one was that I could bring
That one
all
got
these-
canceled too.
Man.
Yeah,
By you.
No, I think it was by the audience because you do that one, and we love to do it because we could bring people up on stage. But then after it was over, you have what we call in our band the reverent silence of the audience. We always call it reverent silence, like to try to like they're so awed by that they couldn't even clap. So
Right.
we stopped doing it. It was clear that it was not going over well. But I liked doing it with my kids and my daughter when she was like 5 or 6 years old. The first time I got her up there, she read the one that says, "Thou shalt not partake of decaf," and it came out from her mouth as, "Thou shalt not partake of death." And I thought,
Oh, wow.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very profound.
Yeah.
Should have put that one up there. Yeah.
Do they like your music? Do they like?
Yeah. I mean, I think in 2011 when we started kind of doing it for real
Yeah.
again, it was basically because my daughter, I had played some of it for my daughter, and she said, "Well, when can we see you play, Dad?" I said, "Well,
Damn.
I don't have any. I'm not even in the band, but but let me see if I can make that happen." So
Wow. So that was inspiration. of that,
yeah. So it was fun.
And so wow. And what do they do? Do they want to do music as well, or?
My daughter plays the French horn, but I think she's now more kind of a science or kind of like
Excellent.
STEMmy kind of engineering is.
Wow.
I mean, she's applying for college right now. My son is already at George Washington U in DC. And he's taking computer courses. So I guess the nerd factor
That's
they inherited.
yeah,
they
that's
inherited
incredible.
that.
I
man.
got to ask because
Yeah.
Ask
sorry.
him, man.
What type of scientists are you?
Oh, I'm a geneticist. I'm like a biologist.
Okay.
Kind of a molecular biology. I kind of got into science and biology through being fascinated by DNA.
Yes, yes.
So that was my trip for so many years. And
you said you were working with DuPont?
I was at DuPont. Now, they started me off working with DNA, plant DNA, and doing plant genetics. By the time I left for the past 2 years, I was there, I was working on plant soils, and it wasn't as good for me because it was just like, where's my DNA? I got to have my DNA. And so, I don't want to work on dirt. I want to work on DNA. So,
yeah, right.
So,
and in that field, is it moving faster than people can possibly imagine? Or you think that, because I think it's further ahead than people.
Yeah, well, if you just take the vaccine, for example, I mean,
Okay.
that's just just in the larger realm of biotechnology, and we can include vaccine development as a branch of biotechnology. They busted that thing out, and that's fastest they'd ever developed a vaccine, and there's all the strategies of how you would do that, but the main winning strategy was to use RNA, as opposed to, that's a brand new technology. There's a Salk vaccine. All the old vaccines were either attenuated virus or they were protein, like individual viral proteins.
That's right.
But now now you just inject RNA, and that works, and that makes vaccine development much more rapid. And so, it's a good example of how things are just kind of really, a lot of times science develops in response to a need, and this was a huge need.
And you had the international community together working, which was something that never happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone was making a vaccine.
In the history, right.
And what is RNA? What does that mean, for the listeners? Because people talk about that a lot.
Good question.
So, the central dogma of genetics is that DNA makes RNA makes protein. So RNA is called the messenger that talks between DNA and protein. So when you say we inject people with RNA, what we're really doing is injecting with the message to make protein.
Okay.
Because RNA will then it's called translated. RNA gets translated into protein, and it's the protein that's going to do the work in the cell, and it's the protein that actually spurs the vaccine response, because what you're doing is you're injecting an RNA of that's corresponding to that will make a viral protein.
Okay.
So it's an RNA for a viral protein. Viral protein then gets made in your cells. That's what spurs the immune response.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how we all stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And before the RNA, what were they using? You said before.
Well, so some of the original vaccines were literally just
putting
virus,
right?
Yeah. But they
get some of the virus, right?
Yeah. I mean, in fact, Pasteur or some of those early guys, they were just saying, let's just inject people with small doses of actual virus,
right.
And you can imagine that a lot of times you had people getting sick just from that type of vaccine.
Yep.
And that's where people, need to understand what's going on with this thing. You're not injecting anything infectious into you.
Right.
The vaccine is an RNA. It's not a virus. And it's actually a small snippet of a piece of a protein encoded by the virus. So there's absolutely no possible way that it can
mess with DNA. People say,
or
track you,
or infect you or whatever.
Right,
right. So it's a very, very safe and very fast way of developing vaccine.
Are they all the same? The Johnson, Moderna, and the Pfizer?
Johnson & Johnson is a
old school one, like virus.
Yeah, it's more old school. What they do there is I believe it is a protein that you're injecting there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then the Moderna and Pfizer are both RNA based.
Okay. Yeah. The thing people say about tracking it's so crazy because you're getting tracked on your phone. If you have a Gmail account or whatever, people see your stuff anyway.
That whole tracking
thing
is like really out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been happening. I mean,
on your phones.
That's already a game over.
Like when I'm on my Gmail and I'm seeing like Nikes or tattoo removal, everything that I look at.
If you use a phone, use a computer, you use money. You have a credit card.
Money.
You're already in the system. You can be tracked. Period. You have camera systems all around. Everything technology. It's already been captured. And why they would want to track you is something I don't understand.
Everybody thinks they're so important. Yeah, people want to look at their shit.
Yeah,
You know what I
It's
mean?
You're
Like-
not that important, my friend. You're not that important. But you're already tracked.
Yeah,
So get over it.
People are railing against Big Brother, but Big Brother's already in
It's
you.
been there.
Yeah.
It's been there. I mean, technology, I mean, I don't know if you would agree with that. Since it's been, changing so rapidly, that was one of the discoveries when computers came into existence. It was like, wow, you can get data.
Yeah, exactly.
Powerful.
Yeah.
And you're a scientist and you're a punk rocker, so like, I don't know. It's just your perspective. I love you because you're actually that's what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can get passionate about science if I could talk for hours about it. It wouldn't make for a good podcast, though.
Right.
But what do you do with the soil though? What's the soil stuff you do?
Oh man, well, the stuff I was doing right before I left DuPont was trying to determine whether we could improve the microbes in the soil. You know how you take probiotics? I don't. Maybe you don't, but
some people do.
Some
Yeah,
people take probiotics. Well, there's probiotics for
your gut
plants.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kind of equivalent for plants is soil probiotics. It's like microbes in the soil that can beneficially affect plant growth. And so I was working on trying to identify different microbes in the soil that could make plants grow better. Basically, yeah.
That's amazing, man.
So, yeah.
That's good for the planet.
Yeah.
Helps
What
the
do you say to
global
those
warming.
people like, well, if you mess with it, there's some backlash of that when people are always messing with something of nature.
Well, it's true. I mean, and you think about you think about like people's microbiota in their guts. You don't want to mess with that.
No.
But then again, you probably could take certain probiotics that would actually improve your gut. The key is to try to figure out which ones would improve your gut, and which ones would not improve your gut. So you could do the same thing with soil. Certain soils out there are just going to be so depleted of the right microbes that you might need to replenish those microbes. Same way that someone might replenish their gut microbes. I mean, some people that have IBS really, it's because they've just wiped out their microbiota in their intestines.
That's interesting.
So same thing's true of the soil. You got to try to keep the right level of beneficial microbes in there.
What about that?
I don't even think about shit like that. There's no plants. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like-
I mean, I think they have to now because of you have to come up with solutions because you can't go on the way that we're going.
Oh,
as
not
I
at
can
all,
see.
man.
Yeah. We're just trying a whole bunch of different stuff. We've done plant companies have tried breeding for so long, and you can definitely make inroads and you can improve plants by breeding. But why don't we try some different stuff, like try to improve the soil? Why don't we try to if there's new genes that we can put in there? I'm not opposed to that. I'm pro GMO. I'm not against that as long as we apply the right regulatory oversight of it, and as long as we're not creating monster plants or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I'm all for it.
Yeah, I never knew much about the GMOs. I know people talk about that in some of the fake vegan meats, like
Yeah.
that between something that's not genetically enhanced, right? Modified. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. Yeah, people say it's bad or good. I don't. I like the way it tastes. I like the Impossible Burger,
Right.
and that's GMO. You know what I mean?
Most
Right?
things are GMO,
Yeah,
Yeah.
most things, right?
and we're all fine.
Nowadays, yeah.
I know.
I mean,
fine.
what do you think about going back to the basics? Like some people are looking at indigenous people and how they do the agro farming, which seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, I think that there's plenty to be learned from old school farming technology. The main issue is trying to feed the planet. It's
The
like
amount of people,
Yeah,
right.
scaling up. Whatever if we have to scale up, we have to scale up. If there's no way around the scale up, then we have to try to make our yields still feed the world, even if we're scaling things up.
I think I mean, I don't know. Do you think it would help by cutting a bit of the massive agricultural companies that are creating meat, since a lot of that it's taking up
sure.
land and unnecessarily feeding all these
Yeah,
animals.
well, I mean, I worked on corn, which of course is just like pig,
Oh, wow.
pig feed.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I mean, yeah, I think if we were to get rid of a lot of that type of stuff, we could get back to making healthier vegetables that people just eat as vegetables.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
It's-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get more conscious about what you eat, studying all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my daughter's a vegetarian, and I have been vegetarian. Right now, I'm kind of like in the kind of like I eat low amounts of meat, but I'm not.
Yeah.
The thing is once. So my son was like carnivore, and my and my daughter's completely opposite. you know?
Yeah.
So
Right.
so when we have dinner, it's like, well, what do we do?
Yeah,
but,
Yeah.
but now he's off at school, and now we're just trying to feed her, and I find myself just eating more vegetarian when it's just her,
Yeah.
and me and my wife. So yeah,
I mean, you've been pretty healthy your whole life, right?
yeah.
And you exercise and stuff.
Yeah, I was running earlier this year, and then I blew out my Achilles.
Oh shit.
So I'm trying to get back in it. But yeah, I try to stay active. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see you running for some. I don't know why. You do marathons and stuff too, or no?
that's in my past.
Oh, so you've done marathons.
I did when I was 17 years old.
Wow, it's 17.
Yeah, I keep meaning to get back to. I think, well, like maybe when I hit 67, it'll be the 50 year anniversary of my only marathon.
I want to do a marathon. That's a goal for me for
Yeah.
sure, man. I love to.
really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
love to do that.
Yeah, they're cool. I mean, you know, it
17.
gets hard. It gets harder the older and older you get to try to
course.
say,
Yeah.
to have that kind of a very ambitious thing. But you got the main thing is I found is that you just have to listen to your body and not get too crazy about it, not get too overly ambitious about it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's how I blew up my Achilles. I was like, yeah, I'm going to ramp up the mileage. I had a friend say, oh, I'm going to run a half marathon. I go, yeah, well, maybe I could do that too. And then I start ramping the mileage, and then I blow out my Achilles. So that's
Wow.
So you gotta as you get to my age, it's just like you gotta just take it easy.
How old are you now?
58.
Wow,
What?
you look great,
No
man.
way.
You're aging well,
yeah,
man.
yeah, very well.
You got good hair too. That's like a big thing, man.
I know you're
I have
into
hair
that.
envy. We both have. You have no hair.
I-
Oh, you grew it back? No, you grew it back. I'm sorry. You grew it back.
It's all right.
You had your head shaved. You grew it back, but you haven't been on stage with hair.
Yeah, I had
since
a
COVID.
lot of hair my whole life.
He had
so
dreads
just,
and
like,
he shaved it,
tired
and then
of
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't care. This point, it's like it was too much work to
Yeah,
deal with.
and you know, and if it's not going bald, you're gonna go gray, one of the two. So
Yeah.
I just
think
kind
it's
of rock. I rock the
distinguished.
gray, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
Silver Fox.
Yeah.
you
But
know?
58. Wow, man. Still playing it live. That's amazing, man. Playing those songs.
I mean, the more years I do it, the more I just take it on as like the challenge. Like maybe I can just die on stage someday, or you know, maybe that's the plan. And
Wow.
then also just not only just like take it on as a challenge to keep doing it, but take it on as a challenge to keep having fun doing it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be having fun at like 60 plus, which is it's ironic. I wrote a song where one of the lines was like talking about Mick Jagger being a pixie. That's 50 or 60. That was the rhyme. And I say I'm not going to do that. And then the irony is that, you know, it's like
Dude.
I couldn't have been more wrong. I just, you know, it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Why
Right,
not?
exactly.
I mean, Keith Morse, like in his 60s,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
and
Killing
he's
it.
killing
He's
it.
doing
yeah,
it. Yeah,
he
totally.
sounds great.
He's so inspired. We had him on the
Yeah.
pod. Like he's like 65 maybe, but like I saw
Yeah.
footage this weekend him jumping around
Yeah,
and like
Yeah.
man, it's sounding.
it really keeps
good.
you young, like doing what you love and playing this music.
I
man.
Yeah.
I
agree.
don't know, something
I agree
special.
100%.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
But like when you never, obviously since you quit that job, I mean that probably had pension, retirement, all that stuff. You were
Yeah.
set, right, being a scientist, and now you just went back to music. So that's a different.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I'm very fortunate because I was able to bounce back and forth and, you know, have two careers.
Yeah.
And the fact I just have to, you know, knock on wood and feel very grateful.
But it's not like you
because-
can't go back to being a scientist.
Well,
Maybe
you'd be
doesn't want
surprised.
to.
You'd be surprised. No,
Once you're out, you're out.
well, no, it's just that if I view the two things from the perspective of having been a scientist and having been a musician, the kind of, again, the irony of it for me is that it's the music that I can do as a geezer more than the
Really?
than yeah. I think because in the science you've always got to be up with the hot new technology and you've got to stay current with all the, you know, with all
I
the
see.
new techniques and stuff. And
That's true.
And also they just the way that they hire people these days, they want someone fresh out of, you know, their PhD or whatever. So they're always looking for the young buck.
I
and,
see.
And you know, I just had it all wrong. As a young kid, I thought, well, maybe what would have the more longevity? And I would have thought it would have been a scientist.
Me too.
Wow.
That's,
That's
I'm
not-
always thinking that.
It's not how I view it now.
Ah,
So-
okay.
And you made the decision, yeah, like so late in your life to like be a full-time musician.
Yep.
Because I was
Crazy.
pissed when that album was like Milo Goes to College. I was like, is he really done? I know. I remember
Yeah.
as a kid, I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell? I was like,
That's
I just
it?
got into.
Yeah.
I just got this
I
album.
thought I
I
wa-
just got into this,
Well,
and I
I-
was so angry. I was
Yeah.
just like, great.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, I
Over.
thought I was done. That's the thing, is I thought I
Right.
was done, and then after every few years, I just thought I was done again. But then, you know, it gets in your blood, you know, and
Of course.
even though I turned away from it, it was like, okay, I'm leaving my past behind. It just every time I'd get back on stage, you'd miss it.
Yeah,
and
of course.
And that's what just kept bringing me back. And so finally, I just threw in the towel. Like, why fight it? I'm that guy. I'm that. I'm a musician. Like I called myself that for the first time in probably 2016. I'm a musician.
Wow, man.
Oh my God.
So have you been wearing glasses your whole life?
Yeah.
You never thought about getting the surgery ever?
No. I mean, I had contacts, but I didn't like them, and I just feel like, these are people think they're inconvenient. I find them just convenient.
Yeah.
So
it would have changed everything for Descendents if you didn't have glasses,
I
or
know.
all of a sudden you stopped doing that for like one of the albums.
Yeah, if I was just to go back,
I would be.
If I started wearing contacts now, it's kind of like, okay, game over.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I would be mad.
Yeah.
And so are you still writing songs like all the time? Like you always have stuff going on in your mind? Like
I tend to write in spurts, and I wrote a bunch of songs, like I'm gonna say like 2 years ago, and so we started tracking those, and actually I got into this great rhythm with Stefan, who he would write the music part and just write fully. It's
okay.
What's that?
I don't know, but I'm
Powers.
I cut out. I cut
Oh,
out.
you cut out. You can't hear yourself?
I'm cutting out.
It's those cables.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I think I must have. It's like a loose.
Can you hear it now?
Is it? It's in one ear and not the other.
I can hear you. I got you.
I can hear you. Oh, I'm out.
Oh, you know what?
I'm
It's
in.
just my headphones in.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. I don't need them.
You don't?
Yeah. No. So I mean, I don't need the headphones.
You sound great.
Yeah. So Stefan, he mainly writes music, and he wrote all these different songs, like 25 songs, no words. And
Wow.
He goes, well, I'm not a word writer, so here, you write words. So he and I got in this great groove of, like, I would write words for his songs, and that kept me very busy over the last, couple years writing for him. But then after a while, like I said, I'd written all the songs that I wanted to write for the record.
Exactly.
So, I'm not always writing. I'm not I'm not one of these people that wakes up in the morning and is like, I'm going to write a song. Or whatever. He seems to be, Stefan is actually like, he'll wake up and just, he'll put in the time and write and just write, try to write a song every morning or something like that.
And Bill writes songs. He wrote some songs in the past too, right, Bill?
Yeah, Bill writes songs, but he the surprising thing about Bill is, even though he's written some of our best songs, he actually doesn't write that many.
Okay.
And he tends to wait for the songs to come fully formed out of the heavens. So it's like it's got to be something that's just, he doesn't want to do it piecemeal. He wants it just all to kind of coalesce in an organic, fully formed way. Which, as you might imagine, that can limit your kind of your prolificness or whatever. But and so right now, for example, we've got a lot of songs from Stefan and a lot of songs from me, but we're still waiting to get songs from Bill and Carl. And I know that they have them, but they just haven't like finished them, or they've been cycling through songs that are like, well, maybe this one's not good enough, I'll write a new one. It's a whole thing, and there's a little bit of writer's block there too. But I just kind of I just stay patient. What else can I do?
What's your process of writing songs? Do you have
because you guys are spread out around the country, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can work all different ways. I've written some of my new songs were songs where I started writing a lyric and then fleshed out the lyric and then wrote chords underneath it. And worked out that way. Stefan, like I said, he writes music first, and then he actually, his way of doing it, he writes music, and then he usually has like a melody associated with it. He calls it the fricka. And it's because when he sends me a demo, it'll be like him going blah, 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 blah. He's not singing words, but he's singing a melody with just gibberish. And I know this is the way other people write as well.
They do.
And then I go, well, dude, I'll make those gibberish be real words. Just give it to me, and I'll do that. So that's been kind of fun because it frees you up to think, well, I'll just kind of, like, sometimes I hear his fricka and I go, you hear words already kind of emerging, and you go, well, I guess that's what the song's about. Whatever I'm hearing in that gibberish is what the song is going to be about.
Yeah, I think I remember people say frana frana or fricka fricka.
Right.
Frana frana.
I do this all the time. And
you do?
And then it's funny because there are words that even if I'm doing it myself,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, there is a
There's
word
a
in
word
there.
there,
Yeah. And
Yeah. So especially if you got bad hearing, you can really make whatever you want out of it. So yeah. So that's one way of doing it.
It's a
And
great way,
I
yeah.
after having done a bunch of Steffan songs, I said, well, shit, I should try to do that too, because I was under the impression mistakenly that I'd never done that before, but I have done that before. I did it with Hope, my very first song that I wrote.
Wow.
It's like I wrote all the music.
That's
first.
the first one you wrote too.
It's the first one I wrote for it's the first one I wrote for the band. Yeah.
Damn.
That's like a game changer, man. Yeah, it's a banger.
Were they like, well, hello?
Yeah, and I had to think back and realized, I came to Bill with just this music piece and said, here, check this out. And he goes, oh, I like the way that sounds. It's like it's the song that inspires hope. I like it. I go, I guess that's the name of the song then. And then I had to write a song, and then I had to write a lyric about said subject. So yeah.
Are there certain songs that you love to play still, and songs you're like, that song I played a million times. You love them all.
I don't think we get tired of songs. There are songs that we retire for the reasons which I mentioned, like like Pervert.
2021 reasons, yeah.
Yeah, 2021 reasons. We don't do Loser.
Or
anymore.
Lose, I know, man.
Boo.
You know what's so? Let's keep it 100.
Okay.
Me, him, and my friend Chappelle were driving down Fairfax the other day, singing that song so loud in the car, and we had the window shut. But we could get in trouble for singing this out loud. But just singing that song by then, it just had a different meaning. But I don't know.
Yeah. So I have to. I mean, were you writing from a perspective of a person who is a loser? That's like, were you writing about a loser?
Good
who
question.
has this attitude.
Oh well,
about hating everything and just like
it's working now. It's cool. It's not working for you now. Wait,
no, it's working. For me.
It's cool. I kind of like tapped it a bit.
Because I was curious if it was written in that perspective of I'm writing about a guy who's a loser who has a really crazy attitude.
Well, I mean, you'd have to ask Frank, but he's not alive anymore, so you can't. Yeah, because Frank wrote it. But a lot of times I try to get in Frank's head because actually the Ninth and Walnut stuff meant getting back into Frank's head again, and so we, for Loser. We were all kind of in high school. He was a year older than we were. We all in the same high school, all kind of like outcasts, all kind of like felt like people thought we were losers.
Right.
Because the people who would have thought we were losers would have been the jocks,
right.
would have been the cool guys. And then, that song's about like, well, maybe I'm not the loser, you're the loser, maybe you guys are the losers, cruising down the boulevard, wasting mommy's gas.
Right.
And then that's
Friday night.
Then of course it kind of disintegrates and dovetails into just name calling. But I kind of think it's kind of the same. It's in the same piece of like, what do you call a jock? I don't know. I mean, maybe you say you fucking jock, or do you say something really something
it's
really more
drive
biting?
them crazy. Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Oh, so you didn't write that?
No.
Oh, so you're chilling. You're good. I didn't write those lyrics.
It's like that's my normal thing.
I saw you guys in Minneapolis. Like, I think I was in high school. Yeah, and it was like you guys played it. And then it was like, all right. And then the crowd was like, yay. And then you're like, let's do it again.
Oh, Loser?
Yeah.
We did it again.
Or it might have been that song. I'm remembering that song. And then you're like, until the audience were really like amped up. You're like, I don't think you guys are good. Let's do it one more time. 3 times in a row.
What year was
finally,
that?
It was 89.
Damn.
Well, yeah. And if we stopped playing it after that, but at some point, and I think it might have been around the time of that massacre down in Florida at the gay nightclub. I was like,
yes,
because what happened.
I remember that.
Even before that point, for several years before that point, I didn't even sing that part the same way. I sang it I sang it a different way. I just changed the words all around, thinking, well, that'll solve it. But it doesn't solve it because the people in the audience are still singing
it,
the original lyric.
Right,
and so then it finally dawned on me, like, it doesn't matter what I do to that song. No matter what, I could zip my mouth shut. And not even and just turn my back to the audience and not sing that part.
Yeah.
But they're still going to sing it back to me, so we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's crazy is like singing that, not even thinking about it as a kid, like skating to it or seeing him play live, and then singing it to him, but then singing it in the car as 51-year-old men in the car last week and singing those words like, oh shit, am I allowed to say that?
It as
I don't
a kid
think about
back
that.
then though to anything like as far as
Yeah,
hate or anything.
Nah, me either.
Never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Ever.
It just changed.
Yeah,
and I think
it's interesting.
I mean, I think it changed for the better. I mean, I feel like I would have liked to have been more awoke back then.
Yeah.
Woke, but I wasn't.
Right.
You know, and so we weren't really thinking about the implications of what those words really meant, unfortunately. So that's
Yeah.
It's a learning process.
So definitely. Are there some songs that you love from back then that you love playing still? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I still like playing songs like "Bikeage" and "Hope," and I still like doing Wiener Schnitzel too. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even know what that was, and then I realized it was actually a place. I don't know. Back then, I was like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" You know what I mean?
Kabuki Girl. Or
Yeah.
Great.
We still do quite a few of those that first record just because, they still kind of get your blood pumping, so it's still worth doing it. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, Suburban Home and fucking Silly Girl and Sour Grapes and Clean Sheets.
Jesus.
Bro, man, those songs
are
like those like hits. Like,
well, I mean, that album was like one of the first albums I ever bought as a kid. Like that and Rush. Like I remember going into the store like, I got this. It's so rare to get this album. You know, in the middle, I was living in Cleveland. And so it's just like something so obscure and it just, like looking it over and over. And then my friends just playing it over and over, B-side, and then just like skating. And then everything just kind of like the basis of like, holy, I'm going to start collecting albums.
Yeah.
This is like it really started with that, Descendents.
That's cool. I mean, everyone has their own band like that. Mine was X. Like I was a new wave kid and I first heard X and all of a sudden I was like, no, I'm all about LA punk rock now. And I just became like obsessed with all LA punk rock just from listening to X.
Right.
So yeah, same thing.
Did you ever skateboard as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I skateboarded till I broke my wrist and then I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I mean, I probably could have, if I would have kept doing it, the technology would have been better and I would have been.
Right.
But I mean, back then, I mean, they just introduced urethane wheels when I was skating.
Urethane keeps coming up, man, all day today.
Urethane.
Yeah. Wow. That was a big deal.
Yeah. And then first it was the urethane wheels. Ooh, they're not clay anymore. Then it was closed bearings. Yeah, we don't have to now the bearings don't fly out of your wheels. Yeah.
Remember that used to happen. You get dirt in there, have the Q-tip in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I did stop when I broke my wrist one time, and
I thought for sure you guys were like massive skaters. I
think I probably skated more than Bill did. Really, he was the fisherman, and I was like a skater for a little bit. But
what about surfing?
Surfing, I did again about the same time I was skating. I was also surfing. I grew up pretty close to the water.
Yeah,
and then my eyesight got so bad that I couldn't see the waves so well.
How old were you when that happened?
Probably 13, 14.
Okay,
and I moved on to other pursuits. I was a runner in high school, and that kind of took
track and field and stuff.
Yeah, like cross country and that.
Wow.
Kind of thing. So
did you compete?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So, yeah. I mean, I think even though I was right down the thick of that whole surf culture, I would say I didn't disdain it necessarily. I just didn't have the same interest level.
Yeah. I mean, I know we talked about this before, but you didn't get to hear him talk about it, but just like the pop sensibility of Descendents. I know Ramones had melody. They're for me, that's the first time I heard all those.
True.
Like doo-woppy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But you had this such as pop. I don't want to say pop punk because that's whatever. It's so different now. But like the first band's obviously singing about love and had that melody. And I know you listened to X, but what is something else that had that melody inspired?
Well, I was a huge fan of the Buzzcocks.
Perfect.
I feel like the Buzzcocks definitely. I mean, people talk about pop punk. Look to the Buzzcocks, right? I mean, they're really the ones that, and the subject matter is all similar to what we were doing. And
that's a great point.
I was a real big Buzzcocks fan, but I think aside from the Buzzcocks, I was mainly focused on LA punk band. But there's this other band in LA called The Last, and they were a band that. Although they had a punk vibe to them, they were mostly mining like a Beatles territory, and so I listened to them. I was just like, why aren't these guys huge? I mean, they've got a good edge to them that I like in a punk band, but they're writing songs that the Beatles would have written.
Wow!
And so Bill and I worshipped The Last.
Okay.
And I think if you take The Last and take X and Black Flag and the Germs and mishmash them all together, you end up with
And the Buzzcocks, yeah.
Yeah. They end up
What
with
do I
we did.
get? Whoa.
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
some really catchy songs,
Oh, yeah.
man.
True.
I feel like they're so underrated, man. People love them, but they're kind of obscure in a sense, too.
Yeah.
They were big, and they had so many great songs.
Yeah.
Orgasmatic, just all those songs on their record.
No,
But I feel like they're not getting the
songs.
props like they should be
True.
getting.
Yeah, and I met Pete Shelley maybe a few years before he died, and it was just like one of these like I'm not worthy moments.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Just,
the
go ahead.
melodies, yeah. I mean, it just changed so much. Like, I remember I was getting in, like, Violet Femmes, and it was just,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, you
such a-
were?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was just
they
like,
were great.
man, it's so...
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really like the lyrical content, though, Descendents, because it was
Yeah.
really up my alley. I was kind of definitely nerdy with girls and things like that,
Yeah,
and it was a different side
Relate.
to punk, not aggressive, like fighting and
Right.
beating somebody up. I was like, I can relate to this more because that's not my life.
Yeah.
I live in a suburban area, and I could really identify with a lot of the lyrics. Like, this is so, me. Like, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, love songs.
Yeah. It's like sad, desperate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, totally me. Like, damn it. Like,
We were the original incels. Yeah.
You lived in like suburban home reality for real?
absolute. I mean, once my parents moved to an area just specifically to go to the schools there, then I lived in a suburban like area. But even when I lived in the city, the inner city, things weren't that bad back then. In the
Yeah.
there was like communities. It wasn't like overrun, but it was getting close to that. But it wasn't anything like that. People go out at night and hang out, and your kids were safe, and it was a different time.
Yeah.
Just things in the city changed, inner cities especially.
Did your parents hear the song Parents?
Actually, my dad
Yes.
my dad did hear it.
Dang.
And I watched his reaction when he was like,
Oh, it was,
he said, "Why are you singing the same note all the way through?" That was his.
Did he care about this lyrics?
No, well, I think he did, but I mean, his way of kind of like, I want to criticize
Detaching,
this,
right.
but I can't criticize the lyric. I need to criticize the fact that I'm singing one note. I go, Dad, don't worry, I didn't write it again. That's
I
a
didn't
Frank
write it.
song.
Oh.
See, I get
Right.
that. The whole first record, I get the out, except for except for Hope,
Okay,
you know.
so that changes.
Oh,
Right.
It changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for
The
my
thing is
perception. It's changed.
yeah,
Because
and
I didn't hate my mom. My mom was raising 3 boys on her own. I didn't hate my mom was on my nerves, but I
I
can
could
relate.
I could really understand.
You know what I'm saying? I
like
didn't
that.
hate my mom,
But
but
everybody in
I
that
love
age group were
Descendants.
definitely in that, like, just like, yes, this is the anthem.
But then you become a parent. Then you become a parent,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, now I get it. Like,
I mean, we're really indebted to Frank being just the most bitter person, the most bitter person alive. Because I mean,
shit.
if you think
Yeah.
about it, if Frank didn't write the songs that he wrote, that record wouldn't have had that like vitriol. That came
Man, I mean, it's like,
because he was writing all that
is
stuff.
another song too.
Yeah, and he's writing all that stuff from personal experience. He did he had a terrible relationship with his parents, and Loser, of course, he
Right.
he hated the jocks, and I want to be a bear. I mean, I guess actually,
Yeah, what is that?
well, I think maybe Bill helped him write that, but yeah,
Love that.
but
song.
just
wow.
M16 was that?
oh, I wrote the lyric on that one.
Okay.
yeah, but because my friend was going off to West Point, and I said, dude, go off to West Point and shoot your gun, but I don't care for that.
Yeah.
I had to kind of give him a little diss.
Good.
Yeah.
It's like not into.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There's something I always wanted to ask. I never should ask on the podcast. I could probably edit if not. But I remember seeing Descendants, and I want to make sure. I'll erase this whole thing off the podcast if it wasn't you. But I swear the first time I saw Descendants was in Rhode Island. And I don't know if you would have ever done this, but now that maybe I think about it, you were being, maybe it could have been, I'll take it off this podcast and that's true. But would think you would ever play a show where you pulled your wiener through a hole in your pants? Think you ever done that on stage? Think you possibly
that
could have done that
came
back
out of
then?
nowhere.
Because I always wanted to ask it because
Okay.
I feel like it was them, but maybe it wasn't.
No,
I'll take it off the podcast.
No, the thing. No, you can totally keep it.
Think
in
you would
there.
ever played with like you had a hole and you pull it through and just play the show?
Not the whole show, but
So you would have done that maybe?
yeah, maybe because
It would have been you. Holy shit!
Yeah, the thing is no, I got stories, man. I got stories.
Dude, I've been wanting to ask you this my whole fucking life, Milo. This is the 3rd time I had you on. Like, I've been so nervous to ask you because I remember seeing at the living room in Providence, it was on I Don't Want to Grow Up tour, and
Yeah.
I was up front, and I was like, maybe this is gonna be so funny to talk about. I've never seen like another person's penis head from my nose. But then I remember, and the singer of this band might have had it pulled through his fucking pants.
Oh, that's a whole
so
nother
you
topic.
could have done that.
I could have done that. In fact, during the I Don't Want to Grow Up tour, we went out for 3 months.
I'm almost nervous even talking about this. Go ahead.
3 months in a tiny little van, playing many like driving each of us driving that minivan. So that van.
Wow.
So you get in a state of mind where you just don't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I did, and I did this more than once. There's no good bathrooms. You know about CBGB.
Yeah, man.
Jesus,
of course.
Where do you go take a shit?
Yeah.
Definitely not there.
No,
I've taken one there. I'm not gonna
You
lie.
are
I have my
filthy.
boys watch the door.
You
Go ahead.
my
So
God.
I take a shit in a cup, and then
Respect.
what do I do with the shit that's in a cup? I can bring it on stage, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
man.
I definitely saw your penis.
Yeah, okay.
It was you.
I
was so nervous bringing this up. I was just wanting to ask you this for years, dude. I swear to God, man.
Yeah. No, it's like
Wow.
you bring out the steaming
Wow.
cup, and people think it's coffee or they think it's whatever, and I just kind of set it on the stage and start the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
G.G.
so
Allen
punk
style.
rock.
G.G.
No,
Allen
you
style.
didn't throw it in the crowd,
Yeah.
but
But that's where your brain goes. That's
Yeah.
where your brain goes after
On
3
tour.
3 years of 3 months of tour.
Wow.
You start going on nuts.
So,
But it's so
very
crazy
true.
because
Yeah.
after that show, you were at the merch booth. So I was like, I went over to the merch booth, got a shirt.
Presumably,
You know what I'm
I tucked back the
yeah,
the little
but
worm.
it really was you.
Yeah.
My whole life, I'm like, I knew it's this motherfucker because I saw the show. And Descendents was the first out of town band I ever saw because I grew up with the Verbal Assault guys and Vicious Circle in Rhode Island.
Okay.
And that was like the first out of town band I saw, and then it was the first time I saw another man's penis, but it was on stage. But yeah, it was fucking wow, man.
And
Holy shit.
There was a really cold backstage. I just got to
Oh,
let
so
you know.
you're trying to yeah, okay,
it's
okay.
really cold backstage.
Wow.
It usually is.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so happy you answered that honestly. You're like, no, what the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. And then wow, man. And I know like I forgot what album you guys talked about. The I Like Food, how you changed it to eating more healthy now. Is that
Right,
something
yeah,
for
yeah.
everybody in the band? Because I know Bill had health scares and stuff like that. Like diet, I'm sure this definitely changed.
You know, Carl had a heart attack in 2008 or so. Yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
So he was actually the first one in the band to kind of have a really serious health scare.
Yeah.
And then Bill's health scare in 2011 or 2010 it was. But yeah,
Dang.
so we're, you know, I think that song was kind of like, yeah, let's not eat. It was kind of a response to, you know, two large Cokes or
Yeah.
juicy burgers, greasy fries.
Yeah.
Let's maybe have a kale burger instead or something. Yeah.
Do you still eat a lot of junk food though? Are you pretty healthy?
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of junk now. I don't.
You have a go-to
Um,
shitty food? Something?
Go to shitty food.
Yeah, something. Yeah, you still eat.
Well, I love pizza. You know.
Yeah, I like pizza too. Yeah.
Pizza. You can't go wrong with a good.
What
pizza.
about sweets? You a sweets guy?
No, I gave up sweets. They don't interest me at all. They really
Wow.
don't. Like, you know, everyone wants their dessert, and I just like can't be bothered. You know.
Interesting.
So so I've been able to avoid all the carbs that way, maybe, but I do like French fries. You know.
Yeah. I think once you give up sweets and don't have them for so long, you don't really crave them anymore, right?
I guess not.
I did no sugar
It's
like 30
difficult.
days before. It's super hard.
Yeah, but I know people who just aren't into sweets at all.
But don't you think sugar is like a serious addictive drug that
Absolutely.
people talk about?
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
They're like, it's in everything you fucking eat.
Yes.
Yep. Especially the
I
processed
agree.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the processed food.
Yeah.
Especially the fructose is
Fructose.
It's-
Well, yeah, and I
That's
can't remember last
horrible.
time I had a soda. Sodas.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sodas are just so not my jam. I don't. I
Me
don't, I
either.
don't want
You
Never
don't
liked
drink
it.
sodas either.
Nah.
No.
Remember Jolt Cola back in the day, though?
I remember.
Oh yeah, I did drink
Mountain
a
Dew,
jolt or two. Yeah.
Jolt,
Yeah.
Jolt was
Dr.
sick.
Pepper.
You like had to be the skaters. You're drinking it and Thrasher and all that shit.
It was too much for me though. Even as a kid, I was like, "This is just something is off with this." You
Yeah.
know? It's-
Well, it's kind of syrupy.
yeah.
Uh,
It's
So not a soda guy,
yeah.
not a sweets guy.
I like you know, in terms of hydration, my favorite go-to has been it's just can I do like a product placement?
Yeah, dude.
Spindrift. I like Spin. So
I've
what is
heard
it?
of it.
It's
Yeah.
it's a mineral water, and you know how you drink a mineral water and they put essence of whatever in there, and I go,
Sometimes.
that's not enough. I need something more than essence of whatever. Spindrift actually puts a tiny bit of fruit juice, but just a tiny bit of fruit juice. In it.
Oh yeah.
So
I
now
think
you're
I've had this.
now you're talking about it's not like a Martinelli's or something bullshit like that. It's
Interesting.
It's like a
I've had
teaspoon of fruit juice.
You
or
heard of that
something
brand?
like
yeah.
Yeah,
I
Spindrift.
think
Yeah,
I've
they're
had
big
it.
listeners, so you get a sponsor. sponsor Milo and send some shit to his
I
house.
think I've had it. It was pretty good.
I'd be a sponsor for them, no doubt.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, do you ever fuck with brands and stuff like that in your career? Like stuff that companies you want to, you're not really like online. You're like off the grid in a sense. You're not on social media and all that stuff.
No.
That was never your thing.
No, I mean, I've been off and on Facebook, but I got off Facebook after the election, and I only recently got back on because they're just to reconnect with people.
Yeah.
But I got off, and I think the day that they banned Trump, I got back on. I was like,
perfect timing.
Yeah, I can't see you like looking at message boards or reading comments. None of that.
No.
You've never done any of that your whole life.
No, not really.
Wow. Fucking, that's amazing.
Is there anything in the science world that's coming out that people might not know about that's
He's retired.
super positive?
He's retired, bro.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, something you read about in certain articles or something you've heard about that's like, oh, this is something that's going to be.
Well, I mean,
that's a good question.
For a few years now, it's been about this way of modifying genomes called CRISPR. And
I was just going to mention that.
You probably
I was
heard about CRISPR.
How do you know about this?
Because I was going to ask the question, like, do you think it's going to come to a time period where, let's see, people have sickle cell anemia and they're able to find that, before a child is born and be like, hey, let's eradicate that. Let's move this around.
Yeah, well, they've already done it with a child. I mean, I'm going to say an adolescent. They've cured her of sickle cell anemia.
Wow.
As an adolescent.
That's incredible.
In
America?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the reason why I can do it for sickle cell is because it's a blood disease, right?
Right.
So you can basically remove someone's blood, and you can I guess probably even irradiate their marrow. In other words, you can reinitiate new blood cell production de novo, and that's how you can reintroduce a non-sickle cell stem cell into their system that will then make red blood cells that don't have the sickle trait.
Man.
You won't be able to do. You're not going to be able to cure every disease, but certain diseases like blood diseases are in fact curable through this type of CRISPR technology. Yeah.
I think it's fascinating, but it's also interesting because certain people, especially African American, have this.
Hey, I'm ready for a liquid death, by the way.
Got you.
Yo!
Prodigy from Mobb Deep, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Sickle cell.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh, did he die of sickle cell? Wait, no.
That he had it really bad. Supposedly that's part of the reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong. Don't quote me on it. You want still or sparkling?
I'll go still.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's just it's interesting how they found out that that people that have sickle cell, especially in Africa, they don't have a problem with malaria.
Right. It's associated with that. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh wow, that's just naturally kind of.
You know what?
I don't know.
I remember reading about that so many years ago and wondering whether or not it's just a closely linked trait because and I think the jury's even still out on that, whether or not malaria resistance is just a closely linked trait on the chromosome to sickle cell, because sickle cell anemia is a mutation in a particular gene, in the hemoglobin gene. And is there a closely linked gene to hemoglobin that confers resistance to malaria, in which case people who end up with the sickle cell trait can often inherit this malaria resistance because of the linkage.
Right.
Now, and I can't remember if they've resolved that, whether it's linkage or whether it, in fact, you confer resistance to malaria through hemoglobin, through a particular modification of hemoglobin. That I don't know.
Okay.
But it's a really fascinating question.
Yeah.
And I think they haven't really answered it yet.
Right.
Tea instead of water?
Yeah.
Because we only have sparkling right now.
Oh, wait, I'll take the sparkling.
Okay,
I'll
good,
go
yeah.
sparkling liquid death. I just might burp a little bit.
Caffeine in here.
Yeah. No, I've had my caffeine. I'm good.
Have you had liquid death before?
No, I don't think so. It's
It's
I'll
first
get you
time.
100 cases.
Liquid death.
I'll gladly supply you with liquid death to
The
your house.
sponsor of the One Life One Chance podcast.
It's just good water. The sparkling is really good too. Like
you're selling it, man.
No,
We're drinking it. We're all drinking it.
No plastic. So Live Nation did a deal with Liquid Death. There's no more plastic in any of their venues ever again. It's Liquid Death.
That's great.
And 5 cents goes to donate, help the environment, right?
That's right, Toby.
And the singer's and the owner's a punk rock dude from Delaware.
Oh, really?
Skateboarder
Yeah,
who
he's
started
just
this
a
company.
hardcore kid, man.
Just a punk rock kid who had a
Yeah.
dream and vision. He started Liquid Death. And all cool people work there.
That's
It's
great.
true.
I like it. I appreciate it when I go backstage and they just have a big Sparklets bottle, and they say, "Hey, Phil, get your water from here. No little like plastic whatever."
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So,
Mm.
And because when I rock that strappy thing, I just refill that and don't bother bringing up
Let's
plastic.
get your
on
liquid
stage.
death
Yeah.
village of that, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yo, so did we cover? So let me write some more notes. You have any questions, Derek? I'm going through all my notes.
Covered science pretty well.
I
say
love the
you're
science.
an astute observer of
love
science.
it.
Yeah, I'm really into.
I'm really impressed, dude.
I'm really,
Derek, for real.
I really got into, with this pandemic. I think even before then, just the future of like technology and science, and my sister is at MIT,
Okay.
and so a lot of times like visiting her and going to certain sections, like, oh my god, I was like,
So much technology.
so much technology that people don't realize. That they're like, I can't wait to where I'm like, we're already there.
Right.
You just
Yeah.
haven't heard about it yet, but it's like we're already there, and I'm fascinated with that, especially with like DNA. It's
Yep.
just like being able to eradicate certain things. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and basically, with CRISPR, you can just make a single base mutation, and it can have a very dramatic effect on either a plant's performance, or in the case of humans, you're changing sickle cell. Sickle cell is a single base pair mutation.
Yeah.
And you just reverse that.
Well, I mean, do you think they're doing a lot of testing in China? I don't know if you would know this, but I mean, certain things are in the world community. They're like, we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, because I think that there's something about one of the Chinese researchers who
They're like,
actually,
we're going to do it.
Yeah, made a GMO baby. Made a GMO.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you
that
serious?
there has to be ethics, overlaid
Okay.
on top of this. I mean, you can't just do that kind of stuff.
Because
But I think if we can use it, for example, like with the sickle cell thing, makes a lot of sense to me.
totally.
But we don't need to make GMO babies where it's like, oh, they're all going to have blue eyes.
Yeah, like I got the money to pay for
Yeah.
this. I want a baby that looks like this.
Yeah, yeah.
has
I
always
these
talked about
traits.
that before.
Yeah,
Let's
but
make
I was
a-
like, that's
that's
already
scary. It's wild,
on the
man.
horizon.
Yeah. Let's all make Aryan babies. We can
Yeah.
do
Oh
that.
my god.
And if you have the money, it's like this baby without any disease,
Right.
or
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, the ramifications later on are still undetermined.
I think Milo is the smartest guest we ever had on this podcast.
I believe so.
It's crazy when you think about punk rock and people that's smart and educated, because there's some aspects of punk and hardcore that's like, don't go to college, like don't do that, fuck that, and live their own way and not do what people are supposed, the norm, whatever's supposed to be the norm. And then you have people like you and Greg Graffin and Jello, who I fucking learned about all politics from growing up. I didn't care about any of that stuff.
Right.
Who the hell is Jerry Brown and why am I looking him up? I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, right.
That's
You
great.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this, looking back at it now and seeing the stuff he sang about as well, like still it's happening today. Same with
Oh,
Public
yeah.
Enemy. All the stuff's kind of like
Oh, yeah.
sung
Yeah.
about so back then,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But like to be educated and be a punk rocker and go to have a degree and all that stuff, like there's probably a handful of people that come from a world that's like that.
I mean, there's a lot of things interesting about hardcore and punk rock scene that they brought up topics I had no idea as a kid. Like,
True.
Even like Cro-Mags, they had like, if AIDS don't get you, I was like, AIDS. And it was this,
What's that?
It was like 87.
Oh, yeah.
It hadn't,
Hadn't
just,
ki-
yeah, hadn't kicked.
Probably 82 or something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's a
oh,
good
if AIDS don't
point.
get- I was like, AIDS, what is that? Like, what
And then 7 Seconds, the song "Man Enough to Care" about raising your kid to be macho and be tough, and
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. Like nobody was singing about that back then. Even not just boys fun. Like just
Right,
different things,
right,
and you guys
right.
were singing about love, and then farting. You made farting cool, and then coffee, which my mom drank Sanka. I thought that was for adults only. I could give a shit about I'm like coffee. These
I'm a
guys are like a
Sanka.
couple years older than me. Why are they singing about grown-up people stuff?
That's true.
We just sing about whatever we're passionate about. I mean, so we were passionate about food, and we were passionate
Yeah.
about coffee, and the whole thing with the science part of the whole. That I had passion for that kind of more intellectual pursuit, and that
Yeah.
I just kind of try to follow my passions. But I've never written a song about science, and may never.
That's interesting.
I don't feel like there's any
Right.
need for that. So, yeah.
Do you think that 23andMe stuff's legit?
Ooh,
Well, I mean-
I like that question.
I mean,
Here
I
we
think
go.
the technology is legit, but what are you actually getting out of it? I don't think that the information you get out of it can be very meaningful. I mean,
Okay.
it depends on what markers they're using, and obviously if they're including things like breast cancer markers, then those are very legit.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
But if it's there's a lot of other things where other markers are for genetic predisposition. Which a genetic predisposition doesn't mean you're going to get it. It just means that you
Right.
you
Yeah.
might you may have a slightly increased chance. But I think I think that technology I think has a long way to go in terms of it'd be better if we just sequenced everyone's genomes. That would be my solution to everything, rather than just doing the marker approach.
Yeah. I want to get my dog's DNA tried and see if that would.
I saw people doing this. You know.
Really?
Yeah. I saw they were like, oh, what type of dog is this? Like,
Yeah.
Where's it coming from? And,
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to do.
Yeah. I mean, I did the 23andMe and Ancestry.com.
Was it
just
on
because
point,
I
you
was
think?
curious. I did both of them to see if they were similar, if they were coming. And also, I think a lot of black people don't do that.
You're not
so
Italian?
they don't have a lot of information like other people do. It's because they need a
registry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some kind of a
Right, because people are just like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not giving them my DNA.
Right, yeah.
That's the last thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
So you're not Italian? I thought you were Italian.
Oh, there's like a percentage in there. But I mean,
Really? I'm just joking. For real?
Yeah. I mean, there's like the more people that do it, who are African descent or African Americans, then the more I can base things on. But it seems pretty limited, with certain things.
yeah.
You ever done it?
No, maybe someday I'll do it. I'm German American. That's all I know.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know just because I had like no information,
Are you a strict dad? Like are your kids on social media? Are they computers? Or like
I'm not a strict dad at all.
Okay.
I'm a lightweight.
yeah,
no,
me too. I'm a lightweight too.
I mean, they do whatever they want, and I just kind of give them I lift an eyebrow and but they turned out fine. The thing is
like that. Was your wife more stricter?
Well, I think we kind of meet each other halfway because I think my tendency is to be less strict, but her tendency is to be more strict. I just kind of meet her halfway, and that seems to work. I mean, my kids have turned out fine as far as I can tell, and I view it as the way that I was raised is they had expectations of me, my parents, but they didn't harsh on me and they didn't kind of crush me down. They just had these expectations, and I was like, yeah, I can probably do that. It's not no skin off my back to just kind of try to kind of not end up in jail. That's cool. I can try to.
Yeah.
Not
What were
be
their
killed.
professions?
I was just going to say that.
Oh,
Yeah, my dad.
Same
was,
wavelength, bro.
Yeah.
my dad was a physicist.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah. And my mom, she was a housewife, and she did some realty work. But my dad, he definitely kind of. I mean, there must be some genes there because my daughter wanted to be a physicist for a while, and I took physics and aced it, and my nephew's a physicist, and it's
Wow.
There's some definitely genetics.
So what was the
going on.
first thing that like really attracted you to science? Like how old were you? What was it?
I mean, I wasn't really like sold on science, even though my dad was a scientist. I wasn't really sold on it until I learned about DNA. So really,
Okay,
it was.
yeah.
I mean, like in high school, I had to give a book report on some subject matter, and and I didn't want to do it. I was like really feeling kind of self-conscious and shy, and like I didn't want to get up in front of people. That was my main reason for not doing it. I was like, I'm too shy. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And she said, no, you're going to do this, and she forced me to do it, and I chose DNA as the subject, and that kind of like got me going.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I have a question. I don't know if this is true or not. You can tell me if this is false or I've heard this, that there is a place in Antarctica where they have all the DNA stored of different animals around, like every
Wow.
I don't
animal
know.
or everything, like
Who are you
as
today?
much as possible.
A
They
re-
keep collecting and having it a safe
Wow.
there
No
in case
way.
of any disaster.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
That's
Wow.
I've heard that. You know what? And I don't think that's so far
don't
into
think so
science
either.
fiction.
Right.
I think it might be something that someone might want to do.
You never
Yeah.
heard that though?
I'd never heard it, but it sounds like a good
Who
idea.
are you today? I thought you sang in Sepultura, bro. What is your deal? I thought you were a metal guy. I'm just kidding.
But it totally makes
That's
sense.
great.
Yeah, it makes sense because, I mean, you know, as the technology develops, you may get to the point. Well, of course, you know, Jurassic Park already covered all this, so
Yeah.
but, you know, it's Jurassic Park for everybody. I mean,
Right.
if everyone if extinction is a likely possibility,
Mm.
maybe everyone gets Jurassic Parked, and then
Do you love that movie?
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite movie in the world, but I can.
What are your favorite movies? growing up?
Yeah.
Growing up,
I'm like, yeah, what?
Weird Science?
no,
Are you in
too,
the movies?
Is that too dumb? Weird Science?
That's pretty
Okay, sorry.
lowbrow.
I don't know. Harold and Maude.
Oh,
shit.
geez,
Old school.
Wow.
Yeah. Harold
That's
and Maude.
hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Back to the Future?
No, not so much. It's funny
Classic.
because I didn't really watch too much sci-fi growing up. Really.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think as an adult, my favorite movie's been Goodfellas for many years. So I just
Best movie.
Yeah, I love
Can
Goodfellas.
never get sick of that movie.
No, you could watch it.
We showed it to our
Sure.
friend the other day first time. He
Yeah.
loved it. I can't believe he's
He's an adult
30s and
male. I
never
was
seen
like, you've
never seen Goodfellas at 30s. We almost canceled him personally.
Yeah.
I could see you like
Almost.
comedy too. I could see you like you doing stand up for some reason.
I couldn't do that. I mean, it's funny. I get on stage and I don't. I just want to play the songs. Like, okay, ready, let's go. Let's play the music. I don't have good patter. I don't do that thing.
You don't really talk to the crowd. Yeah. not
No, I
much.
don't. It's just like it's not my gig. And actually, I never really had the chance to develop it as a patter, anyways, because Bill's always like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like that's fine by me because then if he gave me space to vamp, I would just.
Did you get nervous?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's just I'm just more about the music and not so much about like, hey,
This next song.
Yeah,
is about,
yeah. Like,
that's some hardcore shit.
how you guys
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
out there? Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like an East Coast hardcore
How you guys
thing.
feeling out there?
You know what I mean?
Alright.
Like,
oh yeah.
like more talking than music. Like the next
yeah.
song, "Cause out to my friend, stab me in the back."
Yeah,
And shit
this
like, you know
song
what I mean?
is written at a
Yeah.
time when things were really tough. We're
Yeah.
down and out, and this is the song
Dude,
that
not
brought
many-
us back up to
Yeah.
the top.
Dude, not many
Yeah.
Cali bands do that. Watch the Circle Jerks. He's just song to song too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like an old school thing, like a
Yeah,
way,
like the
a
chat,
yeah, but like it seems like a very East Coast youth
Yeah.
of today set that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You
It
know what I
follows
mean?
in metal too. Like you kind of have to do it, or it gets too serious and dark. I found and I liked watching Slayer at times. Like Tom Morello would be like, "Okay, this next song," and just take.
You do your voice thing on stage though too.
Oh yeah,
You be talking over, they go, "This next song's called Arise."
this next song. You're ready to
Yo,
set it off, people. And it's like, yeah, all right.
Why do metal bands do that?
It's kind of like the preacher complex,
Okay.
like and you're in the pulpit and you're trying to get people
Okay.
psyched up,
Yeah.
and they feel that energy. It was my kind of like a thing that I also noticed with like gospel and being growing up going to black churches and then seeing people get up and like feeling the word of God, and I'm like, that's like hardcore.
Yeah.
When they're
That's
just
true.
feeling it, moving their hands and standing up and start dancing. That's the only time that I saw music moving people to like physically.
Yeah.
Like in
That's a
that
good
way,
point.
as far as like really just being out there alone, like one person just like, yeah, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, yeah, and we don't really. I don't think we've ever developed the skills to be that way. I mean, we did this tour with Rise Against, and they, Tim's just really good at
Kills it.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Controls.
I watch
Those
him
guys
do it.
are nice guys,
I watch
yeah.
him do it, and part of me's like, God, I wish I could do that, but part of me's also like, it's not in my personality to
Right.
be that kind of
Yeah.
like that whatever you might want to call it, like frontman leader guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to kind of just kind of roused everyone out of their seats and this kind of thing. I just
Yeah.
want to play my music,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
You never really jumped around or dived in the crowd, maybe back in the day.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not. I mean that's a whole different thing. That's just more like if you're feeling it, go for it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Those are really never your thing, though.
No, and what I have done a lot of, what I like to do is jump down into the moat.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and give the mic to kids because they want to sing.
Hell
And
yeah.
it's different people do it differently. I think with Tim or someone, they can get the entire crowd yelling back at
Yeah.
them. We can't get that happening for whatever reason. So I just give people a mic instead and
Yeah.
let individuals have their turn at the
Love
mic.
that.
Oh, they love that. Yeah.
But then COVID happened.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. Because unless I
That's a
create like
super
some sort of,
spreader mic.
I wanted to create like a microphone condom or something because of that. Because
Yeah.
we're germ collectors. Like we
Oh,
hand the
these
mic,
mics are
we put it back on our face.
filthy.
And so now, like, I hate barricades, but I'm so psyched for a barricade at punk rock bowling because I'm not ready for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like going out and just giving the
you
mic and
probably
taking
shouldn't
it back.
be doing that now.
But that's what
anyway.
we've done our whole
Right.
life, though. We've been doing
Yeah.
that. I mean, giving the mic out our whole life. So we,
New
we're kind of
times.
not immune to it, but we have been collecting germs our whole life.
Yeah.
True.
Not really you because you're in a bigger band and a big stage, but like, me and Milo, but like giving the microphone, collecting.
No, it's still
and-
dirty in those shows.
Nah.
Yeah.
But our New York shows have no barricades. Now I'm like a little nervous about it. It's like,
Okay.
it's exciting, but it's also like, you're really going to be in the mix, and it's just
I would
sweat
be
and-
terrified if I were you.
Thanks, man. But I'm saying, but that's our job. We collect germs for like.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. You're sharing the mic.
Human petri dishes.
Yeah, it's like, and I always say barricade. Now I'm like stoked for a barricade. I know people listening be bummed, but it's just like having
I
that
think
space.
it's just a safe environment.
It's a new world. It's a new world now.
Yeah, I could say that during the Rise tour, we had good big barricades
Yeah.
every night. And so many times I've just been tempted to hop down there because that's what I always do.
Yeah.
But I avoided doing it the entire time. It's just like
It's hard, right?
I'm just not going to do that.
I know.
I mean, and that tour specifically too. It's like, it only about halfway through the tour was there this edict that you should all be vaccinated, and we went through the South.
Oh,
and
man.
It was like, I'm just going to stay up here on stage.
Yeah, it's
you know,
smart.
So
Yeah, like jump down and getting back. Just all that too. It's just
yeah. In the pandemic, I don't think it's a wise idea to get up in the crowd like that.
yeah. It's crazy realizing these things now.
Right.
Like what we're dealing with now, like playing music again, all the precautions, all the stuff you used to do, you can't do, and maybe doing something different, trying
Right.
something different
Yeah.
now. And
I
like
mean, maybe we'll get back to that, but at this point in time, I don't think we're actually there at all.
no.
yeah, do you use a cordless mic or a regular mic?
I like cord. I'm old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like cordless. I can jump in the crowd if I had to, but now it's like, and even now I'm like, I want a cord. Like I never
Right.
wanted that before.
Yeah.
It's just different perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just moving forward.
I went cordless just because my
oh shit.
just because Andy, my guy, just said, "Hey, try this mic out," and I thought, okay, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I can go either way. Really, I don't have a preference. It's just that's what my dude handed me. That's like, okay,
Yeah.
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Do you don't swear that much? I can see you don't swear that much. You even swore once today.
I guess
Is that-
save it for the music.
Yeah, is that a thing though? Are you conscious about how you like not swearing?
No, I guess I just got used to not doing it. I mean, my wife curses like a sailor, so
My wife does too.
Yeah, so I let her do all the cursing. I guess. But the thing is I can't get at all holier than thou about any of it because we're filthy in our music. So,
Yeah.
I like it that way.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I noticed that you a while ago. You don't swear that much either.
No.
It's just people think that like you're Derek, you're in Sepultura, you're in this scary big metal band. You should be saying fuck everything, fuck.
I think
you're not like
I
that.
think at a young age, I just
You're a
my
big
parents
fan.
never swore at home.
That's right.
So that had a big influence.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
also the impact of
My mom
being like
swore a lot.
a big guy and just people are already intimidated and then starting to swear, it gives people this impression. And I didn't want to come off on that impression like they were thinking some type of stereotype and then to feed into it. So I've always been very cautious of my words. And that's first impression. A lot of times people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, wow, he's so well spoken." It's like, that's right. I am. I like to speak.
You're a big teddy bear, man.
Yeah. So I like to come off that way. It wouldn't really be me if I were to come out like, "Yo, motherfucker, oh, yeah." It's not my personality.
I guess for me, being in science, that was probably my.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my circles that I was traveling in.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work out so well to give a scientific talk and be cursing to the whole thing.
And you know some
This motherfucking DNA is.
Christmas, motherfucker, you heard of this shit?
Yeah.
and you know some big words too for sure what they mean.
Yeah.
I swear a lot, right, Derek?
Yeah, you
It's
do.
messed up. My mom
But
was
I'm so used
shout
to
my
it.
mom. I love you, but you swore a lot growing
Oh, my
up.
God.
My mom used to
She
smack
is
us, and she'd be chain smoking
potty
Virginia
mouth.
Slims and getting mad at us or Three Boys. So my mom, you put it.
God, Virginia
Is
Slims.
your
Do
mom?
they
Is your mom
make
still
those?
around?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
here. She's from Massachusetts.
God
though
bless her.
She talks like this, Toby. She talks very Boston.
Toby.
So my mom's East Coast. And She
Right.
lives out here, but she was a lot of tough love and a lot of swearing, and
She's awesome.
Cool.
she's very East Coast. She's a blackjack card dealer for like 15 years at Foxwoods in Connecticut.
Oh, cool.
She's legit. She's my mom. And your parents, both your parents are still
My mom's still alive.
okay.
She's 92. So
Wow.
That's
I-
right. You were just with your yeah.
Yeah, I've been hanging with my mom for past few days. I try to come out as often as I can because obviously, the older she gets, it's like
Yeah.
got to make frequent visits.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I was out here. We're doing Vegas in a few
Yep.
days, and I wasn't even planning to be out here. One of my best friends died, and we had his funeral day before yesterday.
Wow, man. I'm sorry,
So,
man.
Yeah,
It's
so
horrible.
it was one of those things like, well, I'm coming out for the funeral, and I'm just going to stick around in LA for the week. Go to Vegas after that.
How old was your friend? How old?
It's my age, 58.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
Drank himself to death. So
Oh, that's
Wow,
a
man. It's horrible, man.
harsh.
Sorry.
yeah, so it's just like how everyone always was was on his case, or just like hey, please, can you pull it together? And he just never could. So
Wow, man. That's sad, man.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. And it's amazing your mom's still alive. That's incredible, man.
Yep.
So how many more shows you guys have this year? Punk Rock Bowling this Friday. And then you're doing some like Flogging Molly thing?
Yeah, but that's not till March.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a whole tour.
It's
with Flogging Molly.
No, it's just a cruise. It's a
cruise, dude.
It's a cruise.
Oh, cruises
Yeah.
are fun.
Yeah.
You've been on that one.
Yeah, I've been on a
one.
few.
Okay.
You've been the Kiss one, right?
Yeah, Kiss one.
Wow.
And we played some, and I
never
was
done
like,
that.
you know what? I was like, I don't want to do it. I thought I would never want to go on a cruise to do any music, but then it's a lot of fun actually.
Yeah,
People
I'm
get a
looking
kick
forward
out
to
of
it. I mean, even my wife's going to come. When she,
that's
the
awesome.
best
She never
part.
comes, so yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it was originally supposed to be, in 2020, and of course, it just, got
Right.
canceled. There was not going to be any cruising going on in 2020.
I remember there's like a cruise.
Especially on a cruise
I remember
ship.
there was a cruise ship during
Yeah,
that.
it's
There was
stuck.
all infected. It was stuck
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
That's right.
That was one of the. Yeah.
That was the earliest.
earliest.
The earliest what do you call them? Super spreading
Super
events
spreaders, yeah.
were all cruise ships, so there was no chance for the
escape. Yeah.
And where does it go? Like, where do you go? Like, how far out?
This is the Salty Dog thing with Flogging Molly, and it's off the coast of Florida. And we may be
Going to the
going
Caribbean.
to some Caribbean islands. It's a maybe less than a week, like 5 days.
So would you need Dramamine? Is that what it's called? I would probably need that.
If you're gonna puke, or,
I probably, yeah.
I think the last cruise I went on, I wished I would have had that. I did.
Really?
I wasn't sick as a dog, but I was kind of like, ooh.
She had some crazy waters. Because the ship is like a city. It's like
Yeah.
a rock, man. It's not moving.
I
so
think I think no matter how big the ship is, you still you feel it. And I remember being like, well, I'm either going to get used to this or I'm just going to puke, And I guess eventually I got used to it. So yeah.
Is there one thing that the most, what's the word I'm trying to use about you? Like, not biggest misconception. Is there anything about you that people think that it's really not who you are?
I guess just my being on stage makes me a much more animated person than I really am.
Yeah, you're chill. You're so chill.
Yeah, and I get on stage and I do the effects of coffee and just almost do the effects of almost stage fright and just nervousness and just the anticipation of fun. It all kind of culminates into this person who's much more animated than I am off stage. And I'm just kind of, when I'm off stage, I'm kind of a chill guy. And
Are you a shy guy?
I am. And when I got into punk rock, I think part of the reason why I got into punk rock is basically trying to force myself to not be that
Come out of that shell, yeah.
And I joined the band and was like, well, it's trial by fire. This is gonna force me not to be like just almost painfully shy.
Yeah.
So it helps. It did help, and it helped me even off stage to not be shy.
Yeah.
Because but I still tend towards shyness. Yeah.
Yeah, you're more like a homebody, like not really going out and doing all that. And
Well, I do like to go out to shows.
Yeah.
But I'm not the most gregarious guy at a show either. It's kind of, I want to go see the band,
Right,
I'll go see the band. I'll just have a good time, but I'm not going to be like the guy making the scene or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Are you listening to new music? Is there new stuff you're checking out or?
Well, okay. So what? Like Fletcher and Doug both posted about.
Turnstile.
Yeah, Turnstile. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love Turnstile.
Yeah, they posted. I was like, "What's this band, Turnstile?" And of course,
Dude.
now I'm just like spinning it all the time.
Dude.
Right.
Yeah.
If they were listening, they'd be
pretty
so
rad.
psyched because those kids are like such hardcore punk rock historians. They respect
Oh, really?
the past.
Yeah.
They're inspired by all of it.
Yeah.
It's so good. Right, the new record's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Dude.
And I didn't
Fantastic.
realize they were in Baltimore. I was like, man, I could have been seeing these guys for years and didn't even know about it. Because I lived like an hour away to where they'd be mostly playing locally.
Yeah,
so.
and they just did a free show out there recently
Right.
too. Like they embody, encompass whatever, everything positive and fun and energetic that I love about punk rock and hardcore. Like everything about them live. The kids are picking each other up that are diving. Like it was just, I saw Fletcher and Doug at the same show.
Yeah.
I was just cool staying with them, watching. Like we're the older guys watching this new generation. It's just, they're incredible players. They're awesome kids.
Yeah, they're really nice.
The
guys.
the drummer kicks butt.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's
Really good.
incredible.
Yeah,
He's
really
a
good.
beast.
Yeah.
And they were from other bands, Trapped Under Ice and Angel Dust, and they're a group of these kids, and they switch out members. Like the singer from Turnstile is the drummer from Trapped Under Ice, and they're all these. It's just incredible, man. It's so cool.
Yeah.
You listen to them, man. Like,
Yeah, and I'm trying to get my daughter to go see them because they're playing at Firefly. I think they're playing Firefly on this Thursday, that's in Delaware, and she's going down with her friends. I go, dude, you got to go see Turnstile. You got to.
Oh, that's so cool, man. So you can check them out.
I hope they will.
Yeah. And like my son's job randomly went to last week, and somebody else was playing them. at Max's job at the burger spot playing
I'm
Turnstile.
not even
It's like,
surprised anymore.
and it's just cool that
love
like
that.
so many different people are liking him, different ages. You
I
know what
never
I mean?
imagined that there's like metal people I see posting stuff like, "Hey, I got this Turnstile." I'm like, what? And I was like, really? You've heard of them? And I just stumbled across it just because of like, I don't know, I was watching something online. I was like, what's this band? And I was like, and it was just like, and then I just dove deeper. I was like, man, I like this live show they do. And then it was like deeper.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is. And then I just started following them.
I love the samples. I love that they're massive 311 fans and they're not shy about that. And the singer was on one of their songs, and like they love pop, they love everything.
Yeah, they have a good mix.
Yeah, because when Fletcher had posted that, I looked at the footage and it's just like this total anarchy moment. I thought, you know what? I might need to check these guys out.
That's what drew me into. I was
it's like
whoa.
if kids are like, you know,
losing their mind,
flipping on stage over these. I mean, it's just like that was old school.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, just to watch those people going across the stage like that is great.
Exactly
we
what
were
drew
there.
me
We were
in.
just watching.
We were there. I
was
was like, whoa.
It was like my first live show I seen since this pandemic, like, of another band.
Yeah.
It was incredible,
It's cool
man.
because I think there's even more diversity at the shows, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
A lot more girls involved, not afraid to be there, doing flips and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, this
is
is
how it
so
should be.
badass. Yeah.
Totally.
I feel the old guys wearing our masks, like standing there,
Wearing the side like a mask. I'm like,
Way to go.
Those kids don't care. It's just
They
punk
don't
rock,
care.
man. That's
Yeah.
like it's.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Whatever.
excuse me, sir. I
What?
just need to get by.
Yeah. I definitely felt older, but I also felt proud. Like if I never played music again, like my band broke up that day, I'd be so happy that
It's still going on.
Yeah, these are the
Right.
kids who are like carrying
It's a
the torch. You know what I mean? Like,
future.
Yeah.
and they respect where it came from. They always give props to those bands. They're wearing
True.
old shirts and like they're not. It's really cool, man. That's cool
Yeah.
you said that. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
You check it. That's about it for me. Like a new band, I guess Turnstile,
Yeah.
and like no new hip hop, nothing like that, right? No. Yeah, but your kid likes Travis Scott though, or something like that for sure.
Well, I just, I wait for my son to kind of bring hip hop to me, and then, but he for a while there he said, well, I go on Spotify and I look for the hip hop artists that only have like 500 streams, and that's his
The
jam.
underdogs, yeah.
And so then I go, okay, cool, and he plays some of that for me, and I go, yeah, that's cool, but. I don't. The names of these bands, they're not really on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Any more questions for Mr. Milo?
I think I'm good. Yeah.
This is the third time on. I'm
Yeah.
so happy to have you here. This is awesome.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
glad
fun.
we talked
This
about
is-
more science too.
Has he been? Yeah. Okay. So
That's your fault.
yeah. I'm
No,
sorry
I
about that.
liked it. We covered his whole life story in number one. We
Right.
caught up in number two, and now we're talking about like his passions and stuff he's done. You know what I mean? I love
Has he
that.
been on more than anyone else? Or
Yeah. Him and somebody else though. Him and
you got to get like a special jacket, like when you get to a certain like 5.
it'd be kind of
You know,
sick.
we're kind of sick. Like you are now.
Well, I got the picture on the stairs.
Dude, I'm so psyched on that.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite Descendents album? I might have asked you that before, but what is your favorite?
That's
Most
Well,
proud of?
I mean, I'm really proud of Ninth and Walnut, really, because of how it brought us back to that period and how we took something that could have just kind of faded into obscurity or just languished somewhere and brought it to the forefront, and I think gave it a real modern flair.
Yeah.
So I feel like I really like the way it turned out, and that I'm just gonna say currently that's my favorite.
Yeah, and that may not have happened if there wasn't a pandemic.
That's true. It was
That's
very
something positive from that.
It was something positive came out of COVID, because I'm just sitting there, kind of twiddling my thumbs, like I got to do something, and I realized, oh, wait a minute, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then Bill sent me this the stuff, and I just immersed myself in it and just was like, this is so much fun.
Right.
So it was
Did you ever
great.
think during the pandemic at first, like maybe I should go back and be a scientist right now, so I could stay busy or anything like that? No.
I mean, I thought maybe, there's that, everyone has that thing of like, I need to make myself useful. I need to, contribute to the household. And I was really not doing it, obviously.
Yeah.
I was kind of lounging.
You cook though, right?
Yeah, I do all the.
Okay.
I'm a house dude or whatever. But I want. So there was a period where I thought, well, and I'm sure my wife was kind of like, hey, we need to get you out doing something, because you're basically
Get in the way.
yeah, or just kind of in the doldrums, because it does. It's during COVID. I think many of us felt like musicians probably just felt like we were spinning our wheels, or just kind of like we were on hiatus from what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, it was very odd. It was a very odd feeling.
I felt sad. I don't know if it was depression, but I got some dark moments during the whole time because
sure,
there was
a
so
lot of
much
people
shit.
were feeling
There was
that.
so much online. There was just so much that's happened in the world. Just everything.
That uncertainty set that off. A lot of people.
And it wasn't just going on stage. It was like, the chaos that was going on.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, there was so much going on.
Yeah.
Like that was scary, and just like
at the same time that a pandemic going on. It was.
Yeah, it's like you had the pandemic and you had basically the destruction of democracy in front of our eyes. That all was happening. So nothing too major.
And then it's like you want to get out there and you want to make people happy and play music and sing and go out there and express, and people need music to heal, and you couldn't do that. And I think to say the word, I feel like live music is very essential for the soul.
It always is.
Not just for us, but for people.
For people too, and
No
I think I try not to just look inward at my own woes during COVID, because so many people had so many bigger woes.
100%.
I mean, I feel grateful that I didn't get COVID. I feel grateful that I didn't, go broke during COVID, which I'm sure a lot of people did.
Yeah.
My wife works at a university. I had another breadwinner in the family, and so I mean, I have so many things to be grateful for. But I was a little down in the dumps.
Yeah.
I couldn't do the thing that I 5 years ago said I'm going to be a musician. It's like I'm going to be a musician, and then 3 years later, nope, I'm not going to be a musician.
And you almost feel like what is my purpose? I've been doing this for so long. It's the longest I've been home my entire life. Shout out to my wife, because this is the longest we spent together in 26 years, where she didn't murder me. We were all in separate rooms of the house. I'm like, if you can make it through that, and you've been married that long, and there used to be being gone, because my wife told me the reason why I was still married is because I kept going on tour, and the absence makes the heart grow stronger.
I've heard this
I believe that. I'm just saying, so then you're stuck with your significant other, like, holy shit, get out of my face,
What happened to the absence that we were supposed to have?
Because then I'm on top of her. She's trying to be in this office. I'm in my office. Max is in his room, whatever. And I'm trying to give each other space, but it's just hard, man.
You're
it's
an intense individual, my
I am.
friend.
I have a lot of
natural energy.
Now you know I need coffee. But yeah, so it was we're never going to forget this time in our lives. You know what I mean? It changed a lot of people. We lost a lot of people. And I think also it was also like Mother Nature almost giving us a timeout in a sense. You know what I mean?
And maybe an awakening, an eye-opening kind of
thing.
Right.
Yeah. We need to not make it happen again.
And I think more people are conscious of the environment, of everything happening now, coming out of this. I really think people had all the time to focus and see what was happening, when some of the rivers were becoming cleaner, animals were coming out in places where they weren't safe, stuff like that. Across the whole planet.
And the things you end up appreciating a lot more. I appreciate my other 3 band members so much more now.
Oh yeah. Right.
I feel like I feel so bad about how my personal story has been, 82, I'm leaving the band. 87, I'm leaving the band. And I leave these guys high and dry. And that's the way I view it now. Back then, I view it as I'm leaving the band to go do my own thing and see you later. But now I see where, when I'm leaving the band, and that basically the whole thing grinds to a halt. Well, that's just what happened with COVID too. We had this juggernaut thing going, and it just ground to a halt. And I'm like, okay, this is what it feels like.
Wow.
So I had this perspective of having firing in all cylinders, and then just kind of nothing.
It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, and so now I look back. I tell them I hate that I did this to you on a certain level because I know how it feels now.
Yeah.
To basically have the rug pulled out from underneath.
Yeah, and you always had, not a plan B, but you always had a career. You always had something that you could do besides music.
Yeah.
And other people just said, no, we're just going to do music. But you could always be a scientist.
Now, they did diversify themselves, which to their credit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Bill's producing all that.
Yeah. And
so, but you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like.
So I think we've all persevered, and that's been the story. I mean,
it's great that you're willing to really. You were able to really get that, to think that. I'm sure it's much appreciated because we've been in this situation as a band, and somebody's like, later.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, this is the war.
Yeah.
Really? At this time?
So it's called Milo Goes to College, but then on the I think on some of the tracking tapes, it says Milo commits mutiny or something like that. Instead,
Right.
That's what Bill wrote.
Wow.
As a joke.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to those guys too, your brothers, for like
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
and like.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
they
amazing,
you
man.
know, they are the ones that persevered. They made All, and they you know, All should have been the band that was even bigger than us, and they persevered for many years doing it. And I tip my hat to them, because they just ground it out.
They really
Yeah,
did,
oh, yeah.
man.
and so now I think we can, in the aftermath of all that, I think that they understand now that I'm a lifer. You know, at the end of all that,
Awesome.
and I'm not going to do that to them ever again.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. The whole journey of Descendants, and just where you guys are at now, and the shows you're playing, all that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked.
It's my
for this
family.
show.
Yeah, it is,
I'm
and,
so, like,
and all those songs stood the test of time. Those records, everything, man. And just like Max just said before the podcast was even recording, his best friend Nico loves Descendants. They grew up together. The kid didn't even know what punk rock was until he started hanging out with Max. And then he loves Descendants. And then his first tattoo by Dan Smith, he gets Milo, because he's going to college and he wants to be a biologist. It's just those generations, you know what I mean? It's incredible.
Yeah, not anything that I ever expected, but the fact that it just keeps reinventing itself, to me, is the most. I feel just gratitude, nothing but gratitude, because it was not part of the plan to have it just reinvent itself. It just happened that way, and I, you know, all I can say is I'll just keep rolling with it, and because it makes me feel young, and maybe that's why it reinvents itself, because if we continue to feel young, then young people will come.
Right.
I love that.
You know, that's kind of maybe
That's a good way to
the
end
it
this.
works.
That's great. That's so true.
Absolutely.
And you do look great. I'm not just.
Yeah, it's
You're
impressive.
aging really well.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to say this last time, but thank you for playing the way you play. I had to say that.
Very
So
good.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
man.
being here. This was awesome. Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
it was a lot
appreciate
of
you come
fun.
back for the third time.
Thanks for the liquid death.
Of course.
Liquid Death.
Getting all the props. Thank you, Milo.
All right, take
Bye.
it easy.
Hey y'all, Liquid Death's been so kind to give me a promo code. So for your first purchase on liquiddeath.com, go to liquiddeath.com/OLOC and you get a free set of koozies with your first purchase of H2O, still or sparkling. If not, you can try it also at Whole Foods or 7-Eleven. Use the promo code OLOC for your first purchase of Liquid Death. Thank you, Liquid Death, for your support. Appreciate you so much. Murder your thirst. H2O saves lives, y'all.